Hey, it's Tim. Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. That's my new one. Hey, we're joining you again for new live stream, New Year 2022. Joined once again by my friend and colleague and managing editor of PickupTruckTalk.com. It's Jill Ciminello. As I bring my snowball mic closer to me because I don't want people saying, your audio's weird. You're going in and out. Why is it going on your audio? All right. May have read too many comments over the holidays. So welcome to 2022. Happy New Year to everybody. This is our first live stream back. We're going to try to do these live streams as best we can. My travel will get interfered. Jill's travel will get interfered. We're busy people, folks. That kind of happens. So lots of good stuff from last year that we're kind of putting a nip on and moving along to next year. I'm just giving a little bit of time. There's always a little delay. Make sure the audio is working right. You know, Nebraska to Chicago, there's always a tech issue somewhere in the situation.
Wait, no, don't jinx it. This is going to be the year there are no tech issues. There's going to be speaking issues, but no tech issues.
I'm knocking on wood. I'm knocking on wood that there's no tech issues. So there's let's see. I want to cover a lot of things in this live stream because it's been a while. I've been on vacation. I made Joe go on vacation. I made the team go on vacation. We all took a vacation. So we wrapped up the year with the Silverado, not Silverado, the Tundra. We had a ton of videos out on that. You guys, I might have ran one or two too many Tundra videos, but you guys watched the hell out of them.
20 too many.
It might have been, but you guys watched the hell out of them. So, you know, that's what's happening. Hold on. We have Glacier Internationals from New Zealand.
What?
Wow.
Hi.
Did you know this? This is off topic because that's what this live stream does.
Yep.
Most of our audience downloads the live stream as podcasts because we use a site called Buzzsprout that puts a podcast out. Mm-hmm. I just got to report that today that the most downloads that we have through the podcast is from Toronto.
Huh.
Random.
Everybody there is oot and a boot and listening, apparently. Sorry, that was a very bad imitation.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible.
Please feel free to mock my Chicago accent, because that's pretty funny, too. So,
Dave is here. Dave has given a super chat. Thanks, Dave. He is... have you seen Dave and Kelly's on Facebook yet? So, Dave's a crazy man. They have a snowstorm in Middle Tennessee. I have a snowstorm outside. I blew snow this morning with my snowblower. It was negative 14 with wind chill, right? So, I mean, it wasn't awesome, but I did it, right? Dave gets snow in Middle Tennessee. And him and his wife, knuckleheads, drive their Bronco around with the soft top open and do a live stream from the soft top being open with snow.
Okay, so their snow is a lot warmer than our snow. I'm just going to put that out there. It was probably like 60 degrees while it was snowing there. So you can totally, like, keep your soft top open.
I'm like, and he went out like at 4 a.m. and drove around with a Bronco on the roads, and I'm like,
well, he's excited. He's got a new toy.
Right,
Leave him alone.
right. Yeah, I did a donut in the Tundra with a kid. I mean, it was fun. You know, it actually, I had the tires smoking pretty bad. I was kind of, whoops. Anyways, so, off topic there. But, so we did a lot of stuff with the Tundra. You guys love that stuff. A lot more stuff coming to the Tundra. I actually just had a conversation with Rough Country. They're interested in give me some steps, lift kit, front leveling kit, I should say, not like a lift kit. Variety of things with Rough Country. So I'm kind of curious if we'll see, if that works out. I may drive to Chicago, then drive down there in Tennessee and do a big loop. I'm kind of bored looking at the snow, so I may just take a road trip. There's that going on. We have, I'm going to Santa Fe next week for the Lexus LX 600, which is not warm in New Mexico right now, which I'm kind of pissed about. And I'm going to California in the month for the Tundra drive, so more details on the Tundra. I keep getting asked, by the way, about the Tundra hybrid versus this, Tundra hybrid versus that. Hold on, guys. We don't know the price. We don't know fuel economy.
It's like there really is no Toyota hybrid yet.
It's vaporware still. It doesn't really exist. Yeah, I'm just like, hold on here. So that stuff's going on. Jill was supposed to go to GMC Hummer, but wonk wonk.
It got canceled.
We were supposed to be...
No, not canceled. It got postponed.
We were supposed to be...
I will eventually be able to drive the GMC Hummer.
Right, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
We were supposed to be in Vegas right now doing the CES thing, and that got basically canceled. CES is still going on. But, yeah, we got canceled on that one. Although, I did just read something interesting about CES. Apparently, there's a bunch of German journalists who are trying to fly back home. and they have to have a negative COVID test to get back in the plane, and CES ran out of rapid COVID tests, and so they're screwed. So I'm kind of glad we didn't go. I would have drove anyways. Yeah, not doing that. So that's kind of wrapping up last year. We had that stuff, this stuff going this year. I want to talk about, like I said, a variety of things. I did put a deposit down. If you guys didn't see the rest of the Chevy Silverado EV video, I put a deposit down on the Chevy Silverado EV. And my reasons are multifold. Number one is that Jill and I want to do more EV coverage because apparently that's the future. And
Apparently.
I'm sick and tired
Allegedly.
of being... Allegedly. I'm sick and tired of being not invited in events. I'm sick and tired of being left out on stuff. So I said, screw it. I'll buy my own. And so we're buying one for the channel. And we're going to hopefully have Jill in at some point. I did not spend $105,000 for the most expensive Silverado in history. I mean, it's like, seriously, if the Silverado EV is $105,000, what's the GMC Sierra EV going to be? $140,000? Like, where's it end? Like, I'm just like, and my friend in Canada, Jeff, GM Jeff, I think that's his YouTube channel, maybe saying it wrong. He told me in Canadian dollars is $124,000. And I'm just like, and then you start looking at the taxes. So I'm hoping to get the $50,000-$60,000 range. That's what I'm hoping for. But I will tell you this. I was surprised in this. I didn't realize this. I don't know if you realize this either. The difference, we were gonna do a spec sheet between the Silverado EV and the F-150 Lightning because it pretty makes sense, right? But we got like zero specs from Chevy, like zero.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense at the point. But however, the Silverado EV is a unibody and the Ford F-150 Lightning is a body on frame. I didn't dawn on me when I was doing that. A lot of times do video and things you just slip out, and I didn't pay attention to that one little piece. And I was surprised by that. And I was thinking, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. So Ford is still a truck, right? Because it's a body on frame. Did we discuss
They're all still trucks. They have a bed. I'm going to refer you back to the effing dictionary and tell you a truck has a bed. So the Santa Cruz, that's a truck. Silverado EV, that's a truck. So, but here's the interesting question for you. So, in another life, I do another podcast that I record on Thursdays, and we were talking this morning about the fact that it's not called the Silverado 1500 EV. So the question was, is it still a half-ton vehicle?
I gotta say no, and the reason I'm gonna say no is because the gross vehicle weight rating is probably gonna be higher than 8,500. I mean, yeah. This is the thing that I think is fascinating. So, like, one of our Chevy guys on Facebook said he put all these stats. Like, he said, "Look at this amazing stuff," and I said, "Well, it's too bad about the payload." And some people were like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, the payload's 1,300 pounds. Like, my wife's Mazda CX-5 can hold more people than Silverado EV can. It's got more payload, I think. You look at the sticker, but." And I said, this 1,300 in their perfect world. The reality of it, it's probably 1,000 pounds of payload, because once you add like a sunroof, once you add anything in the interior, the payload goes down, right? And that's always their pie in the sky number. It's never really the accurate number. Like Ford was supposed to be 1,800 pounds of payload, but my power boost is 1,546 or whatever it was. I mean, this is what happens. And so I'm like, you can't tow that much, because you have a payload issue, 10% of the trailer weight kind of stuff. If I towed 10,000 pounds of that Silverado EV, it'd be myself in the cabin. That'd be it. And I'm like, they're going to do a fleet truck that's 20,000 pounds? It's none of payload. You can't do it. And batteries are really heavy. And so because batteries are really heavy, you can't do it. It's like, it's the most mystifying thing ever that I ran into as far as that number. And I told Jill a little bit off air, I went and decided to price out an F-150 Lightning. So the first question I got was, "Hey, you did a Silverado EV?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did. What the heck? I'm going to do it, and I'm going to buy it, and I'm serious. I'm going to buy it. If it comes out, $50,000 range, that's going to be the truck for 20."
If it comes out, it's totally coming out. And by the way, excuse me, I just opened a
bubbly
water.
24, 25. I don't know what model years are coming out. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of faith in these estimates. But I went and built the F-150 Lightning, and I'm like, that truck is stupid expensive for a less range. So Jill and I were going to talk about this. So I did a video, and I did 30 minutes. So you guys get put in the comments below. should I publish this or not? Because I literally spent 30 minutes going through the pricing and looking through the stuff. But I mean, I had a $52,000 XLT for 280 miles of range, or 230 miles of range, excuse me. No heated seats, no heated steering wheel, cloth seats, XLT. And then I had the extended range. I priced out $77,000. So extended range was a lot more money. But my point of this is that all of them, Platinum, XLT, and Lariat, all had the optional button to press to add max towing package. And in my video, I was like, I don't believe these trucks can tow. So I'm like, why would I add this package when I don't think the truck can tow at all? Because as we saw with the Rivian video or story we did, every 100 miles they stopped, and they only had a Mustang on the back of a trailer. Like if I tow actually an RV,
right?
I mean, every 80 miles I got to stop and charge. There's no charging 80 miles from here.
Well, you know, and the other thing that I noticed is when you add that tow package, it removes some of your safety features. And I didn't like that either. So I was just like, who needs a towing package? Because I want the safety tech.
I added the towing package, and I had to add the 9.6 kilowatt battery power on board to get the max towing package. And I was like, why would the power... Anyways, that's my issues of building price. But yeah, so I have this massive video I may just publish. What the heck? You guys seem like you watch whatever I put out. But yeah, it's just phenomenal what's going on with that. So yes, and in that video, General Motors Jeff is here. Hey, General Motors Jeff. Jeff's a good friend of mine, becoming a good friend of mine. He's a good channel. But I thought it was just fascinating. And so the other reason I did in the video I want to talk about was I'm not buying the F-150 Lightning for no other reason besides I just had a Ford last year. Like, I don't have a problem with Lightning. I think it's a fine truck. People are going to buy it. No big deal. I just had a Ford last year. I don't want to have a Ford, a Toyota, a Ford. I mean, I want to break up the brands.
But by the way, I mean, you are not, the next truck you own is not going to be that Chevrolet. So what are you buying between the Chevy EV and the Tundra? There's got to be a truck in between.
Look at you, crafty tonight. You're on it. What's in that bubbly? You
I am always on it.
You
and by the way, for all you haters in the comments, I'm always right.
I'm gonna buy a Ram. I've wanted a Ram. I've told people I want a Ram. I want to buy a Ram, and I may not get the views on the Ram that I can other trucks, whatever. But I figure if I go Ford, Toyota, Ram, Chevy, I basically get the top four, right? So like GMC, Chevy, I'd probably go Chevy instead because it's just a bigger nameplate. Nissan Titan, that'd be the last on my list. Not anything wrong with Titan. I think Titan's a great truck. I don't have a problem with Titan at all. It's a solid truck, but it doesn't have the same name appeal that the other brands do.
Or sales numbers. I mean, they sold, what, 81,000 units last year?
No, it was 27,000. And it was up like 3%. That's what the numbers I saw.
Was it? I thought it was 81,000.
Oh, was it?
I don't know. I just edited the story. You're the one who wrote it.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to buy a Ram. I wanted to buy a Ram.
Now I'm curious.
I think it was 27,000 because it's 26,000 the year before. It's up 3%. That's the numbers I saw. They sold like 3. That's the year-end numbers I saw. I could be wrong. That's always those things. So I just I want to get one. I just don't know. I'm hoping there's changes. That's my biggest thing. I just want something with changes. Like I hope there's a refreshed Ram coming out later on this year. That's what I hope for. If I can do that, then that makes sense. But yeah, I want to do something different in between. So that's the only reason. Like nothing against Ford, nothing against GM, nothing against anybody. Just something different. So looking at to get the Yellowstone edition. Yeah, if they build a Yellowstone edition.
Tundra sold 81,000 last year. That was where that number came from.
Hunter, hello to both of you. Wanted to tell you how much I appreciate the real life issues you guys put out in your videos. Thanks. You're asking the real questions, giving us legitimate, straight answers. That's what we do. Thank you. I gotta say that. Move along. Yeah, just what we do. EVs are recreational trucks. Have a long way to go as far as technology goes. I think it's gonna be interesting. I just want to see what goes on. It's 10 point. GM Jeff's probably here. 10.4 kilowatt on board for the Chevy. I think is it
9?
No, it's 10. It's above. Yeah.
For the the.
There he goes, Jill. So
I know. I'm like, because I feel like I thought it was 9.4 is what I saw.
Jill is always right. Wrote that down. And I'm
apparently, clearly now I am going to have to be wrong on several different occasions. Where am I getting 9.4 from? Maybe it was the Ford Lightning?
Ford has 9.6.
Okay.
And yeah, the Chevy beat it by 10, whatever.
I'm like, where are these numbers coming from? They're in my head. Why are they there?
What about an Alpha? The Alpha truck that looks like a Tacoma? I'd buy that, Matthew. I don't think it works. 10.2 from General Motors Jeff. He knows the answer. I think the Alpha is just vaporware at this point. So that's what's going on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the Tundra. Then this fall, I'll sell it by a Ram. Keep the Ram until the Silverado. And then I'm hoping at that point the business is big enough I can buy 2 trucks. Because, again, I don't think the Silverado's going to tow the dam. If we ever go camping, I'm going to need a backup truck. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Or maybe I'll buy Jill a 1-ton she can have in Chicago. So
I'm already starting to think about the Toyota Tundra that I'm getting in February, and I'm like, yeah, that is probably not fitting in the garage. So I'm like, and by the way, I live on a zoned street in Chicago. So if you are not from Chicago, the idea is I live in an area that people want to park in and walk someplace else. So they zoned my street, which means that you cannot park on my street ever unless you have a zone sticker. And by not owning the vehicle, I'm not going to have a zone sticker in my car. But you can go and get guest passes and temporary stickers. And I'm just like, all right, it's been 5 years since I've had to get stupid parking passes. I'm like, where do I now? I need to figure out. I think currency exchange. I have to go to a currency exchange because I sure as heck don't want to go to the DMV. But I have to get a stack, and they'll only give you 8 at a time, and you can only get 8 like every 2 months or something like that. So that'll take up my full week of parking on the street in front of my house. But I have to go get parking passes to park on my street because if assuming it doesn't fit in my garage. Welcome to Chicago!
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so on our GTI, we have a zone sticker. So Jonathan has no problem parking in front of the house. But like our cleaning lady, whenever she comes, I'm always just like, please don't let her get a ticket. Please don't let her get a ticket.
It seems like you need to go talk to the city about that because that doesn't work. Your job is unique. You can't do your...
Chicago is Chicago. And I forget how much they cost. Like I said, it's been 5 years since I've had to buy them, but they're not cheap either. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. I will tell you that I have this plan to drive to Chicago Auto Show because I'm sick and tired of canceling plane flights. And I was going to have you ride in the new Tundra that we have for the channel. I was going to, I want you to have seat time. And then I realized you'd have the same Tundra that I bought for the channel the same time I'd be in Chicago. And
that'd be funny.
And I was like, well, that's kind of lame. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of strange on that one. So, yeah, Chicago does sound great. Some people said move. I think moving is a thing. Still say you need to get a Unimog. You know what I really want? I want a Deuce and a half, or what do they call that thing? It's a big army truck. Like, it's massive, like 50-inch tires. Somebody in town has one. I keep wanting to buy one. Anyways, that's digressing. Things I would buy. Things I would totally buy. So we looked forward to 2022. Chicago Auto Show we're trying to get to. Do you have an update on that? I mean, last you told me it was kind of weird. Omicron situation, COVID going on.
I haven't heard that it's canceled. I've actually started seeing commercials on TV for it.
Okay.
And the First Look specifically, which is the big black tie charity event that kicks off the Friday before. So I belong to the Midwest Automotive Media Association, and we have our annual. You belong too. We have our annual meeting next Thursday, maybe Wednesday, next week sometime. I haven't RSVP'd yet, but I anticipate that they will give an update at that meeting because the Chicago Auto Show usually takes up like 10 or 15 minutes of that meeting to give a presentation. So I have a feeling by the time we do the live stream next week, if we're doing it next week, if it doesn't interfere with your travel, which it may, I will have an answer.
Okay, so that's on the air. We're trying to go to the Work Truck Show in Indianapolis in March. We're trying to get out there and cover stuff. Matthew wants to know about taking the Tundra to Moab. That wasn't the plan. That I was going to take it to Moab. Joe was going to come with me. We're going to do a Moab thing, and then CS got killed, and now it's 17 degrees outside in snowy weather. So I don't think I'm going to wait on Moab a little bit to get to that point. To explore videos, I want to bring this up. He says, "Hey, is it possible you to partner with someone and test an EV fleet truck, 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, then maybe haul a contractor trailer or cattle trailer to post results?" I would love to do that. I really would. It's not possible. it's just not possible. I'd love to tell you that EV truck companies are willing to give us press loans. They're not. I'd love to tell you startups are ready to give us press loans or not. I'd love to tell you that F-150 Lightning, I could do real world results with it. It's not available. Chevy Silverado's vaporware. Cybertruck. If that is not going to come out. If that ever comes out, we will be on the list. But no, the thing I find fascinating, the same thing I found with the Tundra hybrid we're talking about earlier, was that people want to cross shop these EVs. They want to cross shop with other vehicles. It's not possible. It's just not possible. They're just not out there. There's no data out there. There's nobody getting for loans unless you're, whatever, a huge tech YouTuber. And those tech YouTubers, by the way, make tons of mistakes. And B, they don't even drive them. They roll, like the first Lightning you saw was that MK, whatever guy's name is. They rolled that off the car hauler. He walked around, did a video on it, and they rolled it back on the car hauler.
Yeah.
That's
so like that BZ4X video that I did in Toyota, they kept moving it around the parking lot, but they wouldn't let us move it. So like we couldn't touch any of the controls. Somebody specifically had to come and move it for us. So it was literally just a walk around video of it. So yeah, a lot of these EV vehicles, they are, kid gloves, and completely, not letting people touch them yet. I mean, Rivian is the only one that has put journalists behind the wheel so far.
Yeah, nobody's driven an F-150 Lightning. Just now getting a chance to drive the GMC Hummer. But the GMC Hummer events, I mean, those events, guys, are very much buttoned down. Do this trail. You can't do anything else. You can't tow. We don't want to see any launch. I mean, it's like we just can't do it. It's like it just doesn't happen. And so that's one of the things that happens is that it's in the comparison videos, too, like people talk about, like, why don't you do the Hyundai Santa Cruz with a comparable Ford Maverick, Jill? We don't have a choice. It's just
saying me. I mean, seriously,
there's nothing...
why?
Yeah, people asked. They said, "Well, why wouldn't you do like?" I had that GMC Canyon versus Toyota Tundra, and people were like, "Why don't you just GMC Sierra?" It's coming. It's. We don't have a whole lot of call of that stuff. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, if you're shopping for an EV truck right now, I still think we're 2 years, maybe a year, sometime this year. Sometime this year, we should be able to do the F-150 Lightning, but I can almost guarantee you right now there'll be no towing F-150 Lightning, unless it'll be a short 50-mile loop. That's what they'll do, and that's what Ford's done at events. They've done a short drive, a short tow, a short walk around. I mean, we can't do anything else.
Yeah, no, well, I will say I did actually a pretty cool event with Ford. That was my last event of 2021. And we went to Las Vegas. And so on arrival day, they gave us a Maverick. Actually, they gave us 2 Mavericks to drive. So I got to drive the hybrid and the EcoBoost back to back. And so that was like a full day. And they just literally gave me a route map and just said, go do what you want to do. Just be back at the hotel for dinner at 6. And then the next day we drove Broncos, and they took us to the off-rodeo. And we started from the off-rodeo in the Vegas mountains and drove around there. And then when we got back to the off-rodeo, they're like, who wants to go back to the hotel? Who wants to drive more? And I was like, more? I'd like to drive more, please. And so they took us, and it had just snowed up there, and there were like 2 or 3 inches of snow. And so we literally drove all around the off-rodeo property on freshly laid snow. And so that was quite the experience. That was really cool. I took video on it. I haven't looked at it to see if it turned out yet. So hopefully it did. But I mean, on TikTok, I posted just a forward-facing video of like the drive of the day as we went from like snow to rocks to mud to back to snow again, and it was just kind of a cool little progression video.
That was cool.
2.5 minutes long or something. But yeah, so I mean, sometimes Ford gets it right, and I feel like they really got it right. That was probably the best trip and the best product demonstration that I got last year.
Yeah, and I mean it's tough. Like he followed. Let's see. Two Explorer followed up and said, "Bare bones truck, basic work truck. Good luck." The only time I can get a basic work truck is I go beg the dealer. Manufacturers don't give them they're not at events. It's so hard to find those.
So, funny story. You all know by now, I live in Chicago, and golly, it was probably it had to have been at least 2 years ago, because actually 3 years ago, because it was pre-pandemic. It was probably around 2018, and it was in my old place, but not my condo. And I'd gotten a Nissan Frontier, and it was the base Frontier with the crank windows, and it had a manual transmission, and it was basic. And I posted a picture on Instagram, and it was basically just, I didn't realize there were still trucks out there with crank, and it wasn't like, darn them for giving me a crank window, truck. It was just like, I didn't even realize this was possible. And apparently in the photo, it just showed scratches on the cheap plastic, and that could be another reason why Nissan doesn't like us. But yeah, I mean, we like once in a very blue moon do we get like a very basic vehicle, which I really wish that you could see the basic vehicle as well as, the vehicle that has all the bells and whistles. To me, an ideal test would be like 3 days in a basic vehicle and then 3 days in the one that has everything on it, so that you could really live and see and feel and hear the differences. Because very often, and this is going to be weird, but I'm very sensitive to smell, but the base vehicle will smell different than the up-level vehicle. I remember, I can't even remember which.
Probably the amount of plastic. It's probably the amount of plastic in there versus,
plastic, I don't know what it is, but it's just like, this just smells bleh. But yeah, I mean, they smell different. They sound different because of the sound deadening materials or whatever they're putting in there. And, and some people don't care. They want the basic stuff. And I always try to be very fair about looking at a vehicle for what it is and who's going to buy it. I'm not going to drive, a Toyota Corolla and say it's crap because it doesn't have a Ferrari engine. That's not the point, I'm in the Jeep Compass right now, and I just got out of the Wagoneer. And so clearly two very different customers, but I'm going to be looking at who's going to buy the Compass versus who's going to buy the Wagoneer, and I'm going to try and put my brain inside the head of that person when I review it. And when I talk about stuff that annoys me, it's stuff that, for a vehicle of this caliber, like this should be better. Or so at any rate. But yeah, and I did not get a base of the Compass. I feel like I probably got the top tier super duper trim with the really nice leather seats and the beautiful interior and the wireless Apple CarPlay and all the remote start, which by the way I did in fact use this morning because 7 degrees in Chicago this morning. But yeah, I mean, I would I'm rambling now, but that would be my ideal 3 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I've gotten base models is dealership. That's all. I mean, if my dealer has any. My dealer hasn't had a new F-150 on his lot in 2 months. You just haven't had it. All right, guys. I'm seeing the questions about, I should have answered whether I'd bought the Tundra versus the Ford. So I did a video comparing the Tundra that I bought and the F-150 Power Boost I had the year before. I tried very hard to not say one's a hybrid, one's not. They're not equal. I tried to very much say, okay, excusing the powertrain, there's two differences. And people keep asking, and I think it's a fair question, like which one would I buy over the other, right? So would I buy the Tundra over the F-150? I have a hard time making decisions on that because my buying reasons are so different, right? So like I buy trucks for stupid reasons. Right? I mean, I bought the Tundra because it was new. I didn't buy the Tundra because I thought it was, oh, it looks awesome. Oh, I can't wait to do the powertrain. I'm like, I bought it new. I need to pay taxes. It's a dumb reason.
Okay, but you've
But
got
I
to take
still,
yourself out of your own head.
I know. So so this is what I would say. Is I would say, and I thought of it in the video, it's fairly clear. I would buy the Tundra for reliability, resale. It's always been high in resale. And it's a very solid truck. Very solid truck. And I like the way it rides better than I'd like the Ford. And I'm sorry, you can call me not a truck guy, I love truck guy, whatever, but I like the exhaust note. I like the exhaust note in the Tundra better. And I said in the video that I felt like the Tundra was faster than the Ford F-150 Power Boost. And people tore me up. TFL did their drag race and it was left them in the smoke, whatever. I'm saying it feels, and it's visceral. The exhaust note's so much better in the Tundra versus the Ford. It feels faster because it sounds faster. It doesn't mean that it is faster.
Well, and what are the torque comparisons, though, too? Because often a vehicle that has more torque is going to feel faster off the line, which basically, in my book, in Chicago, because, yeah, All Terrain Nation, I do, in fact, the rumor is I live in Chicago. I mean, for me, off the line start, when that light turns green, I'm trying to beat the person who's trying to cut me off.
Yeah. Well,
and that's where you feel it.
Yeah, and I think the 10-speed application in the Tundra I thought it was better than the Ford. I just felt like it held the gears a little bit better. And so that's what I was saying there. I would buy the Ford for the features. I miss zone lighting. Like, I smack myself in the door all the time because I can't see the damn door. There's no lighting in the truck. I don't have power on board. That kind of sucks. To me, the sync system's better in the Ford than it is in Tundra, which is really tough to say because the sync system's been terrible for years and years. I thought it was better. I like the seats. I like the seat comfort about the same. I really like the cloth seats in the Ford. I thought the cloth seats were good. I have a video coming up with a heated steering wheel. I bought on Amazon a gun that shows me the temperature. So I'm actually gonna go to dealerships and do a Ram, a Ford, a GM, and say, am I full of it or am I feeling this correctly? So that's the thing. I have a hard time answering that question, right? So there's things I like about the Tundra, but missing tow hooks, not being able to get in the bed easily, and you guys gotta understand this. So I did the video and I talked about not getting in the bed, and within I don't know how many 20 minutes, I get a video from Chief Engineer Mike Swears saying, "All right, Timmy, I hear you bitching. But we offer a step," and he shows me the step that comes off the bumper. You've seen this step. The step's $400. It's insanely priced, right? And I don't like it that much because it's not part of the bumper. It comes down lower. I don't like this step. And luckily I have enough fat on me that I can use a step. Jill, poor Jill with the Power Wagon, she couldn't use a step because it kept it was like an elevator ride with her.
I know. Well, I was putting all of my weight on it and I couldn't get it to go down. That probably was one of my funniest, stupid things that I've done in a video.
Yeah, but I think the Ford had less build quality. I don't think the Ford build quality was as good as the Tundra build quality was. There was pieces in my drop-in bed liner that didn't quite match up right. I had the knocks in the A-pillar. The weather stripping was an issue. So, overall, from my experience, the Tundra would probably give me less problems as far as build quality long-term. But, my biggest issue with the Tundra is flat out, I have to start modifying it to make it fit to my lifestyle versus the Ford I bought was ready to go. So I have to add a step for the bed. I have to add running boards. I need to figure out something on the front end because I want to go off-roading, but I want to be able to get myself out of trouble with tow hooks or something. So I'm talking to Rough Country about doing a new front bumper. I'm looking at taking that stupid chrome mustache off the front of the end. It's an ugly truck. Every time I go to my Tundra, I'm like, this thing doesn't appeal to me at all. It turns me off getting in the truck, right? And then the stupid pin system with the driver profiles, which Toyota is working on getting rid of thanks to my feedback and others, but that was a disaster. And I hate the infotainment system. It's too hard to use. And so, yeah, if to me, it comes down to this. What matters more to you?
Yeah.
If build quality matters to you, resale matters to you, and you don't care about anything else in the cabin, you just like those features and powertrain, then the Tundra is a better truck. But if you use your truck as a tool and you want to have the power on board, you want to have zone lighting, you want to have those features, then the Ford's a better truck for you. That's why it's always hard for me to answer the question, because I don't know what your buying thoughts are. I know what mine are, and my reasons are dumb, but I don't know what your buying thoughts are. So people are like, you got to tell me the answer right now. And I'm like, I can't. And then another thing that came up, and I think I was talking to Barnes about that thing. I think it was the guy on Instagram. Anyways, I've been asked this question a lot. People keep asking me to compare the TRD Pro versus the Ford F-50 Tremor. And to me, I can't. Because A, the TRD Pro isn't out yet. We don't know price. We don't know fuel economy. And B, you can't get a Tremor with a power boost. So you can't get a hybrid Tremor. I did. I went to Ford.com and built this out. You can't get the Tremor with the power boost. So you can't compare them. They're incomparable. And so it's tough. It's like I can't say this one or the other one, because there's not apples to apples comparisons, and that's the hardest thing, right? So we get the feedback online, which we just talked about, where we're not comparing consistent grades and consistent stuff. Sometimes, folks, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like my Tundra is limited. So I do SR, SR5 and limited. So I'm 3 trims up, right? 3 grades up. And then the Ford I bought was XLT. Well, it goes XL, XLT. So technically, those trucks aren't comparable. It should be Lariat versus limited. However, the price point is the same, $60,000 for XLT and $60,000 for Toyota Tundra Limited. So the pricing is the same, but technically through the trim walk, as they call it, trim walk, the board, I shouldn't be able to compare those trucks. And so that's the biggest thing. Cybertruck, one's a Japanese founded company, the other one's American. Why is it even hard decision? I gotta tell you this. I read these comments all the time. What garbage? I'm sorry, it's just garbage. We're all global companies. If you don't think GM's a global company, holy cow, GM lost their butt in Europe, and that's the reason why their stock price went down. You don't think Toyota is a global company? Toyota is the world's largest truck manufacturer. The world's largest truck manufacturer, Toyota, and they sell more vehicles, not in Japan. They sell globally. So it's all globally. We're all run by stockholders. It's just, and I don't care where the profits go. Go to San Antonio and tell some people that Japanese can go F off. Good luck getting out of the bar.
But here's the thing, too. I mean, so I've done a couple of stories on the American Made Index, and Cars.com every year, they do, how American is your blank. I was going to try and see if I could pull up my my most recent story, because the Ford Ranger for 2020, I think, was the most American truck. And then it dropped down to like number 29. Yeah. So, and it's all about supplier parts. It's about where it's built, where it's assembled. It's about, where everything is coming from, where the plant is located. So saying something is American or not American, I think, isn't as clear cut as it once was. So they usually do it like right around June or July every year. And the most American truck this year is the Honda Ridgeline for 2021. The number 2 most American truck is the Toyota Tundra. Then you have the Chevy Colorado and the GMC Canyon. Then you have the Ford Ranger, the Ford F-150, the Jeep Gladiator, the Ram 1500, the Ford F-150 Hybrid, the Nissan Titan, the Nissan Frontier. But 4 of the last 3 items on this list are American trucks. So then it's the Silverado, the Sierra, the Tacoma, and then the Ram 1500 Classic. But the number 1 most American truck, according to the American Made Index, so Americans are getting the money from these trucks, and Americans are benefiting from the jobs and the industry, Honda Ridgeline, Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, I mean, profits are being sent to the stockholders. Profits don't go back to Japan. Profits go in the company, and the stockholders make money off it. I mean, the suppliers make money. The contractors make money. I mean, it's not like
it's cities where these
right. San Antonio makes where the profit goes to the Tundra. San Antonio, Go to San Antonio, man. The schools, the neighborhoods, they make a lot of money off Toyota. I mean, you go to Dallas, and everything's becoming Toyota Stadium and Lexus Field, and I mean, that's where the profits are going. I've always found that argument just crazy. It's just we are in a global economy, and there are American-made. I understand the American thing, and I understand this idea, but we're in a global economy. That's just the reality of things. All right, so I wanted to go back. What's okay? Comments going too fast. Hunter Barnes wasn't asked about TRD Pro versus Tremor. Yeah, somebody else asked me. It wasn't you. Somebody else asked me about that. That's in the version you currently have with TRD package versus Tremor. To me, the Tremor. I think the Tremor's badass. I really do. When I had it for the week, I couldn't stop driving the damn thing. I thought it was awesome. I think it's absolutely awesome. The tires, the look, the orange accents. I love the orange accents. It just looks cool. It just looks different, looks cool. And the Tremor, when looking at the stuff, it's its own trim level. So if you go to Ford.com, Tremor is its own trim level. So it's not just a package. So TRD is a package. And so the package is Bilstein shocks, tires, skid plates, right? That's basically the crawl control, downhill assist control. So if you want to buy a package with a Tundra limited with TRD Pro, then yeah, you can go that route. But the Tremor is its own beast. And I don't remember the pricing differences, but I think it's pretty considerable pricing difference between the two. So again, if you were gonna do that, I would go with XLT with the FX4 off-road package. There's your comparison, because then you have XLT Unlimited, then you have FX4 off-road package versus the TRD off-road package, and those are comparable comparisons. The Tremor is not. The Tremor is its own beast. But I think it's what I find fascinating about that question, and I'm not trying to pick on you here. You have a really good question, and I appreciate it. Appreciate you watching that kind of stuff. Is I'm just so impressed how much the F-150 Tremor is getting asked about. I've been getting questions and questions. I'm gonna tell you what, that's a badass truck. That's a truck. If I were to buy another Ford again, if I wasn't gonna go with the other brands, I might just buy the Tremor. I think it just looks cool. It's so much cheaper than the Raptor, but it's got the Raptor-esque look to it. Yeah.
Well, and I posted a video on TikTok, and that it was one of my best performing videos for a period of time. So yeah, people are curious about it. I mean, it could also be the fact that the model I had the Lobo badging on it accidentally on one side.
Oh, yeah. You had the
that got a lot of comments.
Yeah, it was a weird. It wasn't Lobo. Wasn't was it Mexican?
Yeah, that's the Mexican F-150. So one side had Lobo badging and the other side had F-150 badging. Now, I didn't even realize it as I'm like literally standing in front of the badge that says Lobo, and I'm like, here's, the new 50 Tremor. And people are like, what's a Lobo? And I was like, what in the hell are you talking about? And they're like, it's literally right by your face. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a mistake. That's what that is.
Again, when I was talking about build quality, it's better with Tundra versus Ford. Ford's got, I don't know what it is. They can't launch a vehicle. Broncos had tons of problems, supplier issues with the hardtop roofs, leaking issues. I mean, yeah. And Jill's working on a story. Jill and I have been working on the story back and forth a little bit, trying to get some answers. There's been some issues with the Tundra. There's been some rollout issues. We've seen a leaking in the rear window seal. Somebody has a problem with that, which is funny. People are like, I commented on one of the Facebook posts. I said, I don't leak in my rear window seal. And somebody says, it's normal. It's supposed to leak back there to let water through. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to walk away a little bit when I read some of these comments. But there's been a couple of trucks with turbo issues. That's just probably a supplier issue. The turbo hasn't been a huge. I haven't seen too many of that. We're seeing more about Platinums and higher trim level Tundras being delayed coming out. So we're working on digging into this. We just don't have any answers for you currently on that.
Well, the official line that we have gotten from Toyota so far is that there is no stop sale or production halt or anything like that. So I'll go back and dig a little bit further. But so far we've heard that there is no issue.
Yeah, we've heard there's no issue, but then you look at some of that. There's a couple of Facebook groups and people keep posting their build date got pushed back, and so there's something going on. There's something going on, but we don't have official information yet. Chase wants to know, would you rather have the power boost in a Tremor? I'd love to have a power boost in a Tremor. I think the power boost is great. I think a hybrid is that is good in that usage because you get the better power on board opportunity. 7.2 versus 2.4. 2.4 is fine, a lot better than the stupid 400 watts that the Tundra has and other trucks have. Much better, more power, but not as good as 7.2. So if you ever want to power your house, 7.2, actually 9.6 and 10.2. I mean, you need the bigger power. So I'd much rather have that. But I wouldn't. You know, I don't know. Tremor's great. I love the Tremor. Okay, I think we answered all that. Oh yeah. No, Hunter, keep asking questions. I'm not trying to. I'm fascinated by that. Tim, I think people are used to crappy vehicles, so you say minor is wrong, but they won't see it as a problem. I know. It's. I mean, it's fascinating to me how many comments I get on that. I think the American consumer has been screwed over so many times by different brands and trucks that the comments always we have a negative viewpoint, right? So like new Tundra comes out with the new turbos, and it's not about, hey, it's new technology, great, or they're borrowing Ford's technology, or they're using semi-truck technology, right? Diesel semi-trucks have had turbos for years. It's those are crap, they won't last. it's just, we have this mindset that whatever comes out is terrible, right? So the EcoBoost came out 10 years ago now. It's been 10 years. F-50 EcoBoost has been in the marketplace, and people still to this day think terrible. It won't ever last. It's a fad. Won't ever catch on. I'm like, everything is going turbos. Everything's going turbos. You know why? It's not 1970s again. Turbos are actually decent at doing their job. Now, do I believe that you get the fuel economy from a turbocharged engine? Oh, hell no. No way.
I can attest to that.
Not possible. I really had to struggle with the power boost to get even near the EPA numbers. So that's what fascinates too, right? So like, I'll do a video on the on the the Tundras, turbos, whatever, and people are like, well, I need better fuel economy. And then the first comment, I don't buy a truck for fuel economy, I buy a truck for a tool. I'm like, well, what's going on here? And yeah, you'll never have that.
You cannot have it both ways.
Yeah, I mean, look at the 2.7 from Ford has better highway fuel economy than the hybrid does. It just does. It's just the hybrids work out great in cities. It's just because you're stop and go traffic. They're in EV mode quite a bit. So yeah. I haven't felt any turbo lag at all. I actually think it was really good. There's a question about, will you be able to lift the new 2024 Silverado, the EV? Well, you don't want to lift it. That's the reverse what you want to do. You want to, like I said in the video, whatever. The F50 Lightning in the higher trim level comes with like 20-inch wheels. That's terrible. The 20, 22, whatever. You want 18s. You want lower wheels. You want lower to the ground. It's physics. You don't want to lift. Like somebody said in one of the comments, they were like, "Hey, I want to see an EV truck like Lightning lifted and tuned with bigger tires on it." And I was like, "No, you don't."
And here's why.
No, this is the reality of things. This is what pisses me off actually about EVs is that we're going down this road of no customization of the vehicles. No tuning, no lifting, no really different tires, right? So EVs want to have a certain brand of low resistance tires to get better range. You're not going to be able to modify it. The most you'll be able to do is put stickers on the rear window, or you'll be able to wrap it. I mean,
there's going to be a different form of modification that will come out. I just think that we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, very well could be, but I mean that's where we're going down. So I think in the thinking process of where trucks were, lifting is better. You get through the mud better. Like he's saying in the South, you want to lift the truck in the South because you want, more ground clearance. I want more ground clearance up here. I mean, we don't own, when we bought the Mazda CX-5 for my wife, or we leased it, we did not buy an EV because no EVs had good ground clearance. And we can't get through snowstorms because they don't plow our street because we're not on a snow route. So, I want more ground clearance. I hear what you're saying. But that's not EVs. EVs are going to be very much made to get the best range. And when you start lifting stuff, you lose range immediately. I mean, just what happens? Higher wind, more wind resistance. Ask anybody with an EV. It's always funny because you go to any forum, you go to any Facebook group, whatever, and there's always one guy. I put 37-inch tires in my truck. I lifted it 6 inches. I go ahead and put different things in the truck, light bar, stuff like that. I have a big LED light bar in the back, and I lost like 3 miles per gallon. How do I get that back? And the first comment is, take all that crap off.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't, because the vehicle now weighs more.
Right? It's
things are sticking up, so
more things. Yeah, that's what happens. So no, I don't. And the other thing I said in another video, I said, I don't understand what's gonna happen to drag races when everything goes EV. Because then it's like, what's the point? Because when you have an EV, you have power on demand, right? So it's like flicking a light switch, power on demand. So the only limitation to how fast an EV will go is going to be a little bit in the drivetrain, but tires. Like I remember talking to a company, they were building a off-road Silverado, and it was going to be full EV off-road Silverado, and they're trying to make it work. It was a company, Lutz, Jeff Lutz. Lutz was the prior president of General Motors. He was heading this company. I forget the name of the company. They were in Utah, and I was talking to him about it, and he said the biggest problem that truck was they were spinning the tires so fast, they're breaking the bead around the rim, and they're shredding the tires on the taking off the line. So they were actually programming the truck to drive slower off the line and more like a gasoline truck, so they could actually drive it. Because with EV on demand, understand that it's full 100% right away, and they were busting tires free. So, drag racing to me is gonna be why. I mean, you look at a Tesla Model S Plaid, the Plaid. I mean, you can't tune a Charger or Challenger. I mean, the thing is just electric. It's fast. It's like it's like a gigantic golf cart. That's what happens. So I just don't. I don't know. I don't say it's gonna happen. I just think a lot of. I mean, yeah. I just think EVs are just gonna be buy it and that's what we're gonna have. And then with the pricing of the EVs, especially with the pricing on the what was I gonna say? Oh, the Tesla battery replacement. You're just gonna see throwaway appliances. They're gonna be throwaway appliances. I think cars aren't gonna be in junkyards anymore. It's gonna be a throwaway appliance. They'll strip the battery out, strip the semiconductors out, and just get rid of it. Did you ever see this video? It happened over break, and I freaking love this video. I just was laughing so hard. So there's a guy in Norway who had a Tesla Model S. I think it was maybe the first. He was first adapter, first guy, early adopter guy. Had it for 10 years. I can tell you don't. Yeah, you didn't know this story. I can tell. You need to watch this video. Anyways,
okay.
This guy has his Model S, and after 10 years, the battery's kaput. Or whatever, 10, 12 years, the battery went kaput. Whatever happened. And Tesla said it's $22,000 for a new battery. 22 grand. And if you know, I'm following Tesla fairly off and on. They don't let you do aftermarket battery replacement. You have to get a battery through them because there's software and all kind of stuff. So this guy's forced to buy a new Tesla battery from them for $22,000. And in his mind, he's like, and I can see the thinking here, right? Why would I spend $22,000 on my used car? Why not just go buy a new Tesla? Makes sense, right? But that wasn't the end of it. Apparently, there's a YouTuber in Norway whose entire channel is about blowing stuff up. So they literally took the Tesla in this mountain landscape, put TNT around it, and they blew it up in the air. Because why would you fix the battery? And apparently, the story goes, they pulled the battery out, they pulled things out to, made sure it wasn't this guy who blew it up. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's not going to make a bigger scene out of it, but
he's not going to make it a toxic dump site.
Yeah, exactly. So they pulled stuff out, but they still blew up the car. And I got to send this video to you afterwards. But it's so funny because I'm just like, yeah, I've been told for so many years now that battery replacement costs would be the same as ICE engine replacement costs. That's not right. It's not It's not right at all. It's like,
maybe one day it'll be right, but it's not right now.
Yeah, and so I mean, this is not that. So yeah, so I'm just like, I just thought it was hilarious he blew it up because to me it's a throwaway appliance now. So we went from fixing TVs, right, and fixing DVD players to throwing those away, right? Nobody fixes TVs anymore. You just buy a new one. We've gone this whole society this way, and I think cars are going the same way. I think the idea of tuning your car on the weekend, of adjusting the carburetor, that's gone. You're not going to do that anymore. Of building a truck up from scratch to something is gone. I had a guy ask me today about if he could add the wireless charging to his SR5 Tundra. you could possibly take apart the center console and take it all apart and add this thing. And by the way, the charger is about the size of a brick to sit behind that, so you have to get a bracket in there. And I'm just like, it's just not going to happen. It's just the money you're going to spend on labor is just not going to make any sense. You just have to keep plugging in. So I just don't think, Smithereens is a great discussion. So you guys have seen this video. The comments are saying this video. That video is freaking hilarious. So I don't know. It seems like there's a lot going on there. So I did a full-size truck video, roundup sales. Let me know if you guys comment on that. I don't really do them very often. Somebody wanted me to do the mid-size. I can do mid-size as well. It was a fun video to do. I told Jill I want to do this video, or the story on it, and so we were talking about it. And I said, I don't really do these very often. We used to do them, and it wasn't a big deal. And so I did it. Well, I wrote 1,000 words in about an hour. I didn't realize I had a lot to say. So
it's been building up for a year. Yeah, you've got a lot to say.
Right. Normally, apparently, I do have a lot to say. I did a video, so let me know in the comments there. I have that lightning video shot. Maybe I'll just run that video. What the heck? Just because I thought I was making fun of it. I was making fun of the truck while I was doing the video too. Because I'm sorry, some of the stuff's kind of just stupid as a feature. Like the under bed storage or under seat storage is a feature on this package I looked at.
Actually, I thought it was standard.
It should be. Like, how do you...
I thought it was standard. I swear, like, we're looking at two different configurators.
Maybe I should say
because you said added $20,000 when you added the battery, and I'm like, no, it's $9,500.
Well, all right, here we go. Here we go, guys. 137 of you guys on here. We're going to prove Jill right or wrong. I'm going to open up a new window. Jill's going to go away for a minute. I'm going to go away for a minute. I'm going to go Ford.com, and we're going to do it live on YouTube. And well, if listening to the podcast, live there, sort of too. But let's go check it out. So I'm gonna lose Jill, lose myself.
I know, and I'm like, I'll bring up the same thing you're bringing up while you're doing it.
Ford.com, and let me make sure it's on my screen. So I have to change the window. So I'm gonna change the window size here. What do you guys think? Am I full of it, Jill? So I gotta go like this. Okay, I'm going to leave Jill the same way. I'm going to go new window capture. Add source. There we go. I have full screen now. You can go live on YouTube in a second. So I'm on Ford.com. I'm going to go to trucks. I'm going to go build and price Ford M50 Lightning. So here I am on the main page. I have Pro, XLT, Lariat, Platinum. So XLT is $52,975, and when I click on there, it goes from 52 to 72 for the standard range versus extended range on just the XLT. So that's my zip code in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, 69341. What do you got, Jill?
Okay, so what is really interesting is it did not do that to me yesterday. Because I wrote the story about pricing yesterday. Was it yesterday? God, this week has already been a long week and it's only Thursday. Well, yay, it's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. But when I did it yesterday, because I did the pricing with the battery and without the battery, and now it added the 20,000, but it didn't do that before. So where are the extras coming in?
Well, here's the thing. Lariat's interesting too. So Lariat, it's only 10,000.
Yeah, because it was only $9,500 when I did it yesterday.
Lariat's Lariat's 10.
You know
I mean,
what? Yeah. I often lie about my zip code. I wonder what zip code I put in.
Okay. All right.
When I did this.
All right. Well,
because I wonder if it's tied to your zip code.
Let's do so here we go. Dallas, Texas. Zip code Dallas, Texas. Dallas. I'll just try a different zip code. Give me one. Oh, I'm on airplane mode. Gosh darn it. Give me a zip code, guys. Somebody shout out a zip code.
Use my parents' old zip code, 33809.
33809. Okay, enter that zip code. So it's Lakeland, Florida, Lakeland, Ford. So if I click this button, it's still $20,000. The pricing's the same.
That's so weird. I swear to you, it did not do this yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was how I got the pricing on the configurator. Right, because if you look at my story, I literally, I would not have been able to say that it was a $9,500 ad if it added $20,000.
Okay, here we go. We got 75214 zip code. I entered it in. That's Dallas. We have Dallas, so it's $20,000. Let's do another zip code. I got 69420. And again, guys, this is 69. Oh, it doesn't. It's not valid. Sorry, your zip code's not valid. 48203, Detroit zip code. Again, guys, this is the difference between literally on the outside. There's heated seats, heated steering wheel, and extended range, but it's 70 miles. 70 miles is the difference between standard range and extended range, according to EPA, not real world. There we go. 20,000 for Detroit. I got.
They have changed this. They've changed this since I wrote my story.
2706.
When I did it, the extended, like, as I write it, the extended range battery is $9,500 to $10,000 depending on trim. And I have the XLT at 54,699 or 669 standard range, and then the extended range battery is 64,169. I would not have been able to get that number if it was $72,000. Like, so I don't know what they changed in the last 24 hours, but they changed something.
Okay. Well, there's your story for tomorrow. So this is what's interesting to me. So you go down, right, and you have two choices. You have extended range, or you have that. And literally the difference is you get the Ford Charge Station Pro included in the extended range, which is just their plug in the wall, which still costs you $1,000 or $500, whatever, for the electrician. Then you can install that. So that's kind of ridiculous. 300 miles of range versus 230. So that's the difference. 300, 200. And then if I added that, did I do anything? Oh, I had to change the package. So net change was $19,500, right? That did change package. But this is what I want. I want to go back here to standard range. And I want to show this. So, Joe, you see it on the screen here in a minute. But they have a 311A, which is standard equipment, and 312A. So the difference between 312A is $9,500. Click on XLT, click on standard range, then click at the packages. So this is fascinating to me. For $9,500, I can get 9.6 kilowatt power on board, which is a $1,000 option I can add to a 311A. But I also get heated steering wheel, heated front seats, and over here on the base package, I don't get heated seats or heated steering wheel. So I have to spend an additional, on top of the price, I have to spend 10 grand more for heated seats and heated steering wheel.
So that's the difference. When I did it the other day, it didn't make me add that 312A group. That's the difference.
Yeah, they must have added it.
That is weird. That is really weird. And I definitely don't agree with it. It's weird and it's bad.
All right, you're back on the screen. So, yeah, okay. I just, and then
I'm like, I'll make eye contact again then.
Yeah, you have dealerships for adding their markup, right? So you have dealership adding. I saw somebody added $30,000 for the markup. General Motors Jeff says, "What changed with Silverado EV introduction?" Yeah, that made it. Well, the other thing too, I'll pause my video because I really picked on Ford on this because I'm sorry, but 230 miles of range is not realistic. I never get range out of gasoline engines like they say I should. I'm not going to believe with the EPA numbers and EVA. I'm just sorry, I'm not going to believe that at all. And so I'm going to say it's probably 200 miles of range. I'm going to probably just kick off 30 right away. And then I got to drive to Cheyenne. Cheyenne's 90 miles away. It's 75 to 80 miles an hour, uphill, usually into the wind. And I'll be lucky to get to Cheyenne with less than half tank for an EV charge. I'll have to charge to get to Cheyenne and back, and that's 90 miles. Just because I know with gasoline engines, I have a hard time getting EPA numbers going to Cheyenne. Unless I use a naturally aspirated V8, I get the fuel economy numbers, but anything else, anything turbocharged, anything small displacement, anything hybrid, I never get the fuel economy numbers because driving conditions. It's not possible. Mm-hmm. So when I look at that, I'm thinking, man, and then I can get 300. I could spend 20 grand more and get 70 miles. That's a lot of money per mile, right? I mean, I don't know what 70 divided in 20,000 is, but that's a lot of money per mile to add increased range. And I'm like, I maybe could make it to Denver. Denver is 180 miles. And then I'd have to go to the store, charge for what, an hour, 2 hours, and it theoretically works out because when I go to Denver, I do my shopping, right? So Denver's a big city, so you get the big stores. It's kind of one of those deals. So I could theoretically go to Denver, find a charging station if it works. If it, you've had problems with public charging. If I can find a good public charger, that's a fast charger as well, right? So DC fast chargers don't exist everywhere. I could theoretically leave it, do my shopping, but I probably, the way the stores are spread out, I'd probably take an Uber around town to get to all the stores, then go back to get my truck. Like, I'm just like, it doesn't, I don't understand it. I just crazy to me that's, but yeah, I saw TFL. So TFL last year had a Model Y. They tried to go to like the Overland West event, I think, it was the weird event in Seattle or something, and they basically made it halfway into Wyoming before they turned on and go back because they couldn't make it. And they literally were only 3-4 hours of road trip. I don't know. It doesn't happen. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. So Animal says, I think you just buy a $1,000 powerful generator and prop a couple gallons of gas in there, and you can run it until you drive. While you drive, and you can increase your range, right? So we've all seen this, right? We've all seen it where you're going to plug in the diesel generator on the side of the road with the EV and charge the EV. I mean, it's been a funny joke. We just says,
or you could just tow a Mustang Mach-E and then use the Mach-E to charge the...
So you have a Caravan. You have the Lightning or the Mach-E, right? Whichever runs out of range, you flip in the front, you charge the one, and you charge the other, and you... it's just crazy. He said, I watched your video earlier today about which truck you're buying. Oh, yeah. I don't know which one that was. Yeah. Oh, you might have been talking to Motors Jeff. All right, there we go. I think we did an hour. We did an hour and 6 minutes. I just had to tell you guys that I just thought that was funny. Oh, okay. We gotta do one more question, Joe. One more question. Johnny Bravo asks
one more.
A really good question. He says, Tim and Jill, I'd like your honest opinions. Do you think GM is making a mistake by jumping from ICE, so internal combustion engine, straight to EV without a hybrid Silverado option, unlike Ford and the upcoming Tundra? I want to hear from you first, Jill. I have my opinion on this, but what do you think? And he's right. No, General Motors has tried hybrids in the past poorly,
and they were miserable.
Yeah, but what do you think?
They were horrible.
Is this a mistake?
So where I think the mistake is I think most automakers should add a plug-in hybrid option. I think going straight from a hybrid to an EV isn't always the best idea because, and you and I have had this conversation, and you don't necessarily see the plug-in hybrid for you specifically, but for me, living in the city, like I can do, as long as it gets like 50 miles of range, I can do everything that I need to do in the city of Chicago and out in most of the suburbs, out and back with 50 miles of range. And so therefore, like 95% of the time, I would never need to touch the gasoline. And then, if I need to tow, if I need to take a road trip, if I need to do something crazy, carry people who are much bigger than me in the vehicle, like payload-wise, I can do that. And it's not a problem because then I just switch to gas mode and I can do everything I need to do without fear, without range anxiety, 5 hours later to charge, give me 2 miles of range, I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
So to me, I think the next natural step for anybody who is starting to tow into the EV world is plug-in hybrid. And really, like Chrysler and Toyota have done that. BMW has done it. And Volvo did it. And so, like, I think the Volvo progression was really good. Because I don't even think they did a hybrid. I think they went their gas engine, then they did their plug-in hybrids, then they are, have their electrified, or, the fully electric variant. And maybe they have a hybrid, but I don't remember that. I think they went plug-in hybrid then. And so, to me, I think it's a little bit of a miss, but they're trying to push this future They've committed to the future of electrification. But I personally don't think that electric cars are the end game. I think there's something else out there. Maybe we don't know what it is yet. But I don't think it's EVs.
Okay, I will say this. I think you're right on the baby steps of the plug-in hybrid going down the road. I think that makes a lot of sense, right? So, we're taking a generation of people that have never plugged in their car, and we're telling them this is the future now. And my issue with it has always been, transportation was always one of the situations where throughout history, right, we went from walking to riding horses to driving terrible cars to driving more efficient cars to airplanes to trains, and now we're going to an electric car that has less range than the gasoline range. So to me, this is the first time in human history we've gone backwards on the evolutionary chain of transportation by going into a lesser range EV. And I find that fascinating that we're at that point. GM has pushed really hard for EVs. I mean, they have pushed really hard. And, they spent $2.2 billion in Factory Zero. I get it. They have a big investment into it. But it's this rush that I have complained about on this channel a lot. This rush to go full EV. Oh, that country's not going to allow gas engines anymore. This country's not going to do this. That state's doing this. We have to go straight EVs. That's the way it's got to be. Whenever society, and whenever, especially U.S. citizens, have been pushed in the corner and forced to do something, it hasn't worked out well. It hasn't worked out well historically. So I would like to see them do and General Motors Jeff is right. They did an e-assist on the Silverado. They've done that before.
Which is basically the precursor to the auto stop-start engine. Yeah, in my book.
Right. So I mean, I would agree. I would like to see them gone through a hybrid version. I'd like to see them go through. So like Toyota Sienna, for example. This is a good example. Toyota Sienna is now only offered in hybrid. It's not offered in gasoline engine anymore. Well, the fact of the matter is that hybrid, my uncle bought one. He gets 40-some miles a gallon, and he gives up nothing. He just drives it. The RAV4 Prime is a great example. You don't plug it. You don't just drive it, and you get excellent fuel economy, right? So
yeah, and really good off-the-line torque, and I mean, you posted my video last week of why I think it's the more perfect EV. I don't think you can cut you can't cut ICE out 100% yet. We are not there. The infrastructure isn't there. I think if you want to go all EV, then you need to put and I'm going to try not to swear words here because now I'm starting to get fired up, but you've got to put your money where your mouth is. You can insert a couple of F words there. And you need to build the infrastructure. You have to build the infrastructure first. Before you then just say, oh, by the way, your only option is an EV, and oh, what? You need to drive to Indianapolis to go see your parents every weekend? Sorry, maybe you should fly, because that's fuel efficient and cost effective. But no, I mean, I could not drive a single EV that's out there, maybe a Tesla, because there are superchargers along the way, but I could not drive a single EV from Chicago to Indianapolis and make it. I couldn't do it. And if anybody, any automaker out there is listening to this and they think they have that EV in Chicago, and I will do a real world test, but I don't think it's going to happen without me having to spend 5 hours in Lafayette, Indiana, sitting in a cold car, waiting for it to get, an extra 50 miles of range so I can make it the rest of the way to my parents' house. I don't think that exists right now. And until it does, I think going straight EV is stupid. There, I've said it.
And that's why I'm buying the Silverado EV. Because I want to try that out. And if I get stuck on the side of the road, it's part of the video. Because I want, if this is the future, if this is where we're heading, then let's do it. I'm sick and tired of this pussyfooting around and bringing out one model here and one model there and saying this and saying that. If this is the future, let's do it. Bring it. Let's see if this works. I believe the air quality is global. I believe that India and China are our biggest problems of pollution. I think U.S. air quality based on the U.S. quality standards, on the air standards you get from EPA, our air quality's never been better. I think if all of us drove EVs, we would not impact air quality. I think if we had commercial operations, I think if ships did more better pollution, I think if trains had better pollution, I think if planes, trains, automobiles, I think it's a full transportation network. Tailpipe emissions aren't, to me, the end all be all, and it just gets me upset.
And by the way, I am more in favor of EVs than anybody out there, but until the infrastructure is there, it's I'm trying not to swear. It's stupid.
Yeah,
because if you can't do the things that you need to do on a daily basis, and by the way, like I drive to and from Indianapolis like every other weekend, and I've had to cancel a couple of trips because I've had an EV, and I'm like, can't do it this week. So, I mean, the infrastructure, the ultra-fast charging needs to come. And I've seen it in action. Like, when I was driving the Hyundai Ioniq in California, that's flippin' amazing. Like, you literally back in, you plug in, and 18 minutes later, you've got 80 miles, your 80% range back. And it's amazing. Until that is on every corner like a gas station, EVs are not a viable solution 100%. They're just not.
Yeah, and like I said, my issue with it is I see, maybe I watch too much sports, but if I see one more damn Ford F-150 Lightning commercial, I'm going to scream. Like, I get that they put this big investment. They want reservations, but they're like, we're doubling capacity. It's going to be awesome. Well, they went 150,000 units. Ford sold 726,000 F-Series trucks last year. 150,000 is a drop in the bucket for them. Like, it's not. But anywhere you look, major news story, and I'm just ready. I'm ready to try it. I'm ready to do it and see what happens, because I am a bit like Jill. I'm skeptical. And last time I tried to do...
I'm not skeptical of the EVs. I'm skeptical of the infrastructure. Yeah. Let's be clear.
Well, and last time I tried looking at this stuff, somebody said I have EV charge stations all around me, and I'm like, where? And they showed me the app, and it was all campgrounds. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to go to campground and use their power pole to plug in my EV.
Which, by the way, it's probably only a level 2 charger, which means you're meant to be there overnight.
Yep.
And charge while you're camping.
Yeah.
Until we have as many... and now I'm just going to repeat myself, but I figure if I repeat myself, like, maybe people will, like, understand and hear me and believe me, but until we have an ultra-fast charger on every corner, and these can accept, 350 kilowatt hours of charge, it's just not a viable solution. Plug-in hybrids for right now, especially in a place like Chicago, would very sufficiently and effectively reduce emissions, because people who are driving in the city using the plug-in power not going to be having emissions in the city.
Well, and Sharon brings up a point that once states started doing pollution testing, air quality improved, and I agree. But that was, again, 1980s, 90s. We did improve emissions. We did. What I'm saying to you is, look at the latest EPA air quality report, and you will see air quality is improving and improving and improving. So I want to say this: good job, America. We've done the job. Consumers have done the job. We've gone from gas guzzling big sedans that get 12 miles a gallon to now we have trucks that get 25 miles a gallon. We have small displacement V6s that pollute less than V8s do. I mean, we have done the job of that they want us to do. We've gotten more efficient sedans. We've got more efficient SUVs. We've done the job to reduce pollution in the United States. I say globally. I say India and China, we need to get those countries on board, get the rest of Europe on board, and then Africa as well, and then we can make a bigger impact. I'm looking at the big impact. I'm not, again, if everybody in my neighborhood drove EVs, I don't think it's going to matter much to the global air quality. I think we need to get commercial operations, things like that. Cybertruck says, what's your excuse for not putting solar in your homes? Jill rents her home, and I don't plan on being here long enough to put solar panels in my home to make a difference. I mean, I plan on selling the house, and frankly, with our weather patterns, I'm kind of skeptical of EV solar panels. They put a ton of solar panels up at the soccer field. Like, there's probably 150 of those things up there, and they contribute like maybe 5 or 10% of our total power output. I mean, it's just not return on investment. It's terrible, absolutely terrible.
Well, and my parents had solar panels on their house in Florida, and it did nothing and broke. And then and destroyed their roof in the process. So like it was a much more expensive proposition and damaging than effective. Now, I mean, the technology is probably better now than when it was 20 years ago when they put the solar panels on. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm all for finding alternate fuels, alternate power sources. Use windmill, again, driving back and forth to Indianapolis, there's a 20-mile long windmill farm in the middle of Indiana. And, all for all of this alternative everything. But, people in Chicago, people rent. It's really windy here. There would be a lot of, I don't know. Wind panels would be able to stay, or the solar panels would stay. Like wind power, I think would be better here, but I don't think the solar panels would stay on the roofs. I don't know. Now we're starting to, now that I'm fired up, we're starting to get rambly.
I know. We need to.
Sorry.
we need to move along. I don't think there's anybody I know. We got scam. I guess I'm trying to get through a scammer. I don't think there's anybody in the truck world, anybody in the planet United States that doesn't want good air quality. I think everybody wants good air quality. It's just a matter of finding the right solution to that global air quality. That's what I'm going to say. All right, that's it for us this week. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for being part of the channel. Sorry we went a little long, but yeah, the bots are in the comments. Yeah, you guys got it. Good. Take care of that spam stuff. I don't want to see it. More live streams we try to do next week. I'm supposed to go to Santa Fe. We may do a Friday live stream, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm trying to get more live streams out there because I know you guys like it, and we like interacting with you guys, the audience. Because it's always fun, and this is fun. I've never seen Jill this fired up. I'm excited about this. So yeah,
yeah. Let's just talk about ultra fast charging stations and surefire way to get me fired up.
Exactly. All right, guys. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you down the road.